Welcome back, everybody. My name is Grace, or Gibby, whatever you prefer. And today I'm here showcasing click the wrong button. We're going to have to flee out of that. But I'm showcasing two very underused items, the Winged Sapphire Staff and the Quester's Heavy Gunner. Now we're going to be taking on the Avian Trio, but specifically just the first boss. Because that's the only energy boss, which is, of course, weak to water and strong against energy. Now the Fluffy Thunderbird isn't a particularly crazy difficult boss, but it is notably harder than a lot of monsters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple boost using Berserk. Do I have Grachma Harbinger? No, I don't. No big deal. We'll use Pale Skull Helm. This is just a plus 20% damage misc. There's a lot of these. It's slightly weaker than Grachma Harbinger, but no big deal. And I'm going to use Force Field. Now, if you don't know what Quester's Heavy Gunner does, it's a fully defensive energy armor. Pretty balanced resists, as you can see, slight resistances to wind and fire. But what it does is it has a range lock skill and a magic-based mana shield skill. And the mana shield takes your turn and goes with 653 MP. So I've got a 700 HP mana shield. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to use Truthful Fur as my defensive misc. Going to dismiss my guest, keep on Fairy Godmother, and I'm going to make sure my weapon is toggled to heal. Okay. Staff currently imbues it with a healing aura. Quick to swap to a drowning aura, so I want the drowning aura, so that's all good with me. And what I'm going to do is test out how these sustain options work with an efficient MP spell and see what type of resources I end up with at the end of the fight. So not a super optimized method, I'm just going to be spamming the spell and the mana shield when required. Interesting little visual bug here. When you get hit or when you spell cast, there's no mana shield animation. See, the mana shield goes away and then it comes back, which is interesting. But yeah, to recover mana, I've got the Lore Master's Tome, which just heals about 400 mana per turn, and then I've got Fairy Godmother. So as you can see, I'm full HP. I don't even need this regen effect, actually, because I'm full HP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it to Poison Area. Water Poison. So now it'll do a little bit extra damage to the bird. Nothing too crazy, or it's a burn, I can't remember. Yeah, it's a burn, not a poison. But I'm just going to keep doing this until I run out of mana shield. Then after I restore my mana with Lore Master's Tome, I'll use the healing mode to restore my HP and just do a slowly chip down fully defensive kill. Now, with the addition of Spellcaster Lean, people have pretty much dropped FD mages, or at least the people that I know of who play mage, have pretty much dropped FD mages for the enjoyment of Spellcaster Lean instead. But I actually don't think that FD mages are bad per se, just that they're a little bit less interesting than Spellcaster Lean because you hit a lot lower numbers. But if you look at the ratio, 1.35 spellcast damage, 1.375 outgoing spell damage versus 1.25 incoming, and then you look at 0.8 incoming versus 1.0 outgoing, FD has a slight advantage in terms of like raw numbers. Of course, there's a lot of FD armors that really don't do much, like this one, for example. A lot of people really look at this armor as just being complete cheeks, which, I'll be honest, isn't an unfair assessment. But I really do think that this armor in particular for free-to-play mages actually does have some utility. If you don't have Legion Fenrir, you can use whatever magic boosters you have. If you don't have Multi-Maul, you can use Silas Staff. And then if you have the Grachma Harbinger misc, that would be much better than Pale Skull Helm, or a plus 50 int and plus % damage misc if they ever come out with one of those. But yeah, just a casual 1k mana shield, so really efficient damage, protection, and again, I'm really not losing HP here. My little defensive setup. Okay, I'm going to use my healing aura, and I think I should HPPK Thunderbird, which is just like full resources or almost full resources. Also, it's nice that mages can ignore this guy's imbue because imbues don't affect spells, obviously. That would be really broken. How much regen do I have? Let's do one more turn of regen. I think that'll get me to full HP. But yeah, just a very brief, quick showcase of 2 items that a lot of people think are ass. And I admit, they're not the flashiest items. Winged Sapphire Staff. I think it's probably the second best of the Spellcaster Tomes, in my humble opinion. Just because I think Fear and Burn are not that useful in general. For most settings. Obviously, sometimes they'll be really useful, but that's my opinion. So I think that this having a direct regen mode makes it better, but then I think the light one has a blind mode, and the wind one debatably is really good too, because it has Death Boost and Choke, both of which are really powerful status effects. Oh, I forgot to put my energy misc on. No big deal. Oh, he died to the burn. That's nice. But yeah, I'm not saying, oh, this weapon's OP, this armor's OP, but the utility of a mana shield, even if it's locked to an armor, pretty powerful. Because it costs a turn, it gets a lot more power than other mana shields like Gandalfin or the Necromancer quick cast mana shields. Or Barriers, excuse me. So I think it definitely has a place in the meta. If you're using other boosters like Arcane Amp, Lala Pet, whatnot, Grakma Harbinger instead, you'll see much bigger numbers. And again, the regen staff, it is small, but when you spam an efficient spell, that one was Whirlpool. I kind of assumed people knew, but it's from the Pirate Quiz shop. Took me like 2 minutes to go and get it. Definitely some options for tankiness and resource restoration. See, I ended the fight low on mana, but that's just because it died to the dot. I could have started drawing mana and been full resources. Again, no big deal. But pretty powerful defensive setup, both of these items synergizing with efficient cost water spells. If we get a modern scale efficient cost, which is like 270 SP, water spell you can cast from your inventory, that's not in a package because there is one, but it's a package. That would be even sweeter, even more resource efficient. But yeah, that's it for the showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these underused items. Again, not meta defining or anything, but definitely stronger than people give them credit for, in my humble opinion, for some very safe, slow defensive play. That's all. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.